The fashion, the work and costume in Blade Runner was shockingly different.
I received the script and it read to me kind of like a detective story, almost like a film noir. Just kind of had that feeling, that grittiness. And so I was looking forward to that.
I had a marvelous costume designer, Charlie Node. And Michael's excellent, but Charlie Node was fundamentally the designer. And not enough acknowledgement is given to what Charles did.
Ridley asked if I would, mind working with someone else. And it was kind of a great treat because, we costume designers always work alone. We don't work in this country with partners. We're kind of just working in a vacuum until we were told by Ridley that the first location had been set, and that was Union Station. We found this beautiful mosaic tile work with geometric patterns on them. It was Mexican deco, and it was something that we then, pattern-wise, incorporated into all the designs of the film. Because Charles and I saw the film as a film noir, we were looking back to the detective stories of the 1940s. Charles wanted Harrison to be a gumshoe. He wanted him to be a private detective. And so what it was just kind of redefining what a futuristic trench coat would look like and what his one suit would look like, the suit he always wears and kind of lives in and is kind of creased. I did make 2 or 3 shirts for him, and he did have a couple ties, but it was always the same coat, and I believe always the same suit.
We gave him a reddish, almost Harris tweed, herringbone jacket with little lapels. I've still got his tie, which is a cross-printed, hand-printed tie. So it's like we hadn't gone too far. The trick with costume design like that is don't go too far.
I remember early on when Harrison was first cast, he didn't have very much to say. The only comment he had, the only request he had, was that he not wear a hat.
He said, I just did that. He saw the hat, this is it. I went, oh, shit. And so we didn't do that.
He said, I just came off a long movie and I wore a hat through the entire thing, and if I don't, wear another hat for quite a while, it'll be fine with me.
The character, the haircut was it was a preemptive move on my part, and that is to say, I had my hair cut. And Ridley said, whoa, wait a second. I said, well, you want to wait a second, wait a couple weeks, then it'll grow out, but you can't do anything now. I liked the haircut. I thought it was just enough of a break from what people were doing contemporarily. So it had an odd look to it.
She looked absolutely great, really special.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful woman. And the makeup just was who she was, really. The most perfect lips that I'd ever made up. And her hair was gorgeous, and Shirley, our hairstylist, did a wonderful job, gorgeous job on the hair.
Ridley's persistence with how the hair was, I mean, I actually wore my hair a little bit like the Blade Runner look, because we went over and over in makeup and hair tests to get the hair up and in front of the face, and how we ended up doing that was very much a trial and error.
Well, one of my favorite designers was a designer named Adrian. He was doing something called, I think he called it insertion, and what it was instead of using one piece of fabric to make a coat, for example, or a suit, he would take the fabric, or many fabrics, and turn them different ways so that the grain was going different ways or the pattern was going different ways, and also take different similar fabrics and put them together. When you see Rachel's clothes, there's either quilting or patterns made in that way. She had 2 or 3 suits and 2 or 3 coats. Of course, things that went underneath, like blouses. There's a scene at the piano where she's wearing a beautiful silk blouse that our seamstress Sakura sewed for hours and hours and hours, made out of different colors of Chinese silk.
We scrapped an idea, Ridley did, where they put a piece of tape around my legs and they greased up my legs.
You know, Ridley was saying, what kind of, futuristic hose could we do for her? We came up with something that I thought would look great, and that was to tie a silk ribbon around the top of her thigh where the hose would end. And that would make the leg kind of indent. And below the ribbon, just oil her leg. And so it did look like some newfangled, strange, futuristic, idea of hosiery.
In terms of how it looked, it just wasn't practical. And then it got all over the costumes, and then it didn't work, and they're trying to grab my legs, and the whole grabbing leg thing and pulling my skirt up and getting it all over the costumes, people just complained, and it just didn't work, so we scrapped it. So they cleaned my legs up, and then we did something else.
I don't know if it really, was that visible in the film, but I knew we'd see her legs and wanted to do something, so that, thought went into everything.